Is it working? I'm fighting with it. I don't know why. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay. I was trying to take care of some things. Hey, awesome. Hold on just 1 second. I was trying this earlier today. I was doing some testing, and it wasn't working, or it was working, and I didn't plan for it to work. And hey, Nick, how you doing? So I was experimenting. Hey, Terry. Hey, Nick. Glad to hear that, Ron. Daryl. Awesome. Yeah, I've been trying to improve this, and hey, Paul. I've been trying to improve this. So earlier today, I was testing because my internet speed, all that sort of thing, is kind of lagging, and it was causing delays and stuff with the first time we did this. And I also discovered that there was a bunch of other things going on with my laptop. Apparently, the antivirus program that had come with the laptop had expired, and I didn't know it. And it was junk virus and stuff on my laptop, so I basically had to reset the whole thing. And so I did that, and then I went and upgraded my internet speeds so that I can have a faster upload, which, you know, I'm out in a garage, so the Wi-Fi is part of the problem as well. And I may have to put in a hard line or something like that to make this work better. So, but you can tell now I don't have my echo, I don't have the other crazy stuff going on, and that's an improvement. And I would ask you, Nick, how your car's doing. I haven't seen it, of course, in a while. And I know I went to Nick's house and I did a video. I'm pretty sure I went to Nick's house and did a video on his car. And I think Nick, you had said something about you had taken it to a buddy to work on or something. I don't remember. So you can leave a comment if you want. Let's see, we got 18 viewers, and that's pretty cool. So anyway, I'm trying to get things figured out and trying to make it better for both your end and my end so that this process works. And I hope it's still working. But I thought I'd title this Monday. Hey, Daryl. Arizona. Sweet. I thought I would title this Monday Night Tool Talk, for lack of better ideas. I was playing around today with doing another video on the Jade trunklet or decklet, and in that video my goal was to get epoxy primer on it, and I had some delays during the day, but I ended up because of my goal, I wanted to assemble this spray gun that I got from Harbor Freight. And anyway, I started assembling everything and putting things together, and part of the process is I'm converting over, and I've talked about this before, on my old spray guns, the cheap ones that I had the what they're called PPS cups from 3M. And so this is an adapter that screws into the gun. And basically, you've probably seen in my other videos, the PPS cup, slips into this. And I want to use that with a new gun. Well, hey Daryl, that's a 347 stroker engine. That's going in the Brooklyn Pony. Anyway, so I wanted to use the adapter on the new gun. And hey Stuart, glad you're here. So anyway, I got the adapter out of the old gun, and I went to insert it into the new one. Well, the new gun comes with this, fixed cup that you put on, and basically, you can unthread it, take it apart, Well, the problem is my adapter has fine threads and the gun has coarse threads. So that was an immediate no-go. I could not, I'm not going to force this into the new gun. So anyway, I I decided, well, I'm going to spray it with, this cup. I'll use it, clean it out, put it back on, put it away, whatever. Well, I was working on the next step, which was attaching the hose connections. And, when I went to the store and I bought this from Harbor Freight, I bought 2 of them, I thought that I would be fine. Hey, Ron. And hey, Daniel. 65 Mustang. Thanks for Virginia. Cool. Glad you're here. Ron, I'll get to. Well, we'll talk more about spray guns in just a second. But what I was getting at with this, when I bought this, I knew I needed a regulator and a hose connection and a water separator. So I bought what I thought. That was a quick grab. I thought I grabbed a regulator. It's not a regulator. It is an inline airflow adjustment with gauge. But in my haste, hey Andrew, glad you're here. So anyway, in my haste of buying the tools, I bought this. Well, the problem is, this is it's a pressure gauge. It's not a regulator. And when I put it all together and I had threaded it onto the base of the gun, like you should, and I put everything together and I started putting air to it, I was like, this isn't right, because the gauge wasn't reading accurate. And I kept looking at it, and I realized airflow is this way. Yeah, this way. Well, when I put it on the gun, the airflow is going this way. So it was regulating or showing me the pressure on the hose, not the pressure on the gun. So I had to go run back to Harbor Freight. So I ran back to Harbor Freight and I bought the airflow regulator. This is what I need, and this is what's going to work. So this is what I have on other guns. I just got in a hurry, and you got to make sure you know what you're grabbing. And anyway, so this is going to go on the gun tomorrow, and hopefully I can go to the local paint store and get another adapter for my PPS cups. I'll probably try to do that as well, rather than spray with that big cup on there. But that's kind of how it's been today. And this is also the water separator that I use, just a basic little air or water separator you can get from Harbor Freight, and that'll connect to the base of this. And then once the air goes in, or pressure goes through the hose, through the fitting, I can regulate it here, and that'll change the pressure here. Just know that. It's easy to make mistakes and get in a hurry and miss out on something. So other than that's been my kind of slowdown for today. But I do have the deck lid ready to spray, and it's in the paint booth, so I'll be spraying it back there. And we were talking about, somebody asked about what's the preferred spray gun. I can't say I have any particular preference, because this HVLP came in a kit, and I talked about this on a video. I think this one's the color gun or clear gun, and the purple one is the this has a 1.4, so this would be for more base or clear. But it came in a kit that you can buy at the paint store. Now, these have served me well. They've actually done a pretty good job. And I've heard from the guy at the paint store, a friend of mine, he said guys buy these like once a year. They buy this kit. They use them for the year, and then they throw them away, because that's really all they're good for. And if you're doing basic repair work, a cheap gun will get you done. But that's pretty good. Cheap gun will get you done. But I wanted to upgrade, and I'm not going to spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on a spray gun because I don't do it for a living. It's different whenever you're doing it every day of your life, and that's how you make your money, to live on. So I've heard pretty good things about these Harbor Freight guns. So I thought I'll just give them a chance, and we'll find out. And I will point out, and I talked about this in a video, this is kind of cool. On the base of this gun, it's got a swivel built in. Now, not a pivot swivel like a socket or a universal, but it has a swivel so that whenever you're spraying, the gun can kind of turn with the air hose attached to it. It might make it a little tricky once you have your regulator and stuff in place because it could, kind of get in your way a little bit. But I think it's going to be okay. And yeah, so I don't have any real preference. Now I will say I use a DeVilbiss clear gun, and it's an old gun that we used to use at the body shop, and it does fine. It does what I need. And the thing is, stuff will wear out eventually, but as often as I spray, I'm not too worried about it right now. Keep them clean, keep them running, and you're pretty good to go. I do have a couple other things we could talk about, but I wanted to know if you all saw the video that I posted last night on the viewers projects. I've gotten some pretty good feedback on that, and I think it's going to be a good thing. And in fact, Grease Rookie is on here, and Andrew, and he had a big hand and a big part of that. So I appreciate him doing that and helped me out with that video. And I've already gotten a couple people contact me with wanting to submit videos and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty cool, and we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping I'm still streaming because I don't see anybody responding. So, yeah. There we go. Now I see a couple ones. There you go, Andrew. So anyway, just looking for feedback on that. And y'all don't forget, throw a thumbs up on this video so that it gets some traction and people can see it and help the channel out. That'll help me out too. I got 41 concurrent viewers. That's cool. Let's see. Terry, does a Brooklyn Pony have to be inspected by Department of Motor Vehicles to transfer the VIN from? No, it doesn't have to be. Let me see here. Daryl, got you. Okay. Beatrice Kadri. Hope I said that right. Oh, from France. Beatrice Kadri. Is Kadri the right way you say that? I assume it's Beatrice. That's what it looks like. Kadri. Maybe it has a French accent that I can't do. Yeah, Kadri. I don't know. Norm, viewer videos are a great thing. Yes, I think it's going to be very cool. And Marty Sims coming through fine here. Good. Good. That's making me feel better. I actually updated my internet like an hour and a half ago to try to make this work better. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, Andrew, and I'm really glad you got involved with that. I was hoping you would, and I know it gave you a boost in subscribers, and that's cool, and that's just going to help your whole process. And I think again with the having input from other people, and again, people seeing people's projects can give them inspiration, and let them know that there's other people doing similar things. I almost turned into Scotty Kilmer there for a second. He does all that stuff where he's like conducting an orchestra while he's talking. You ever seen Scotty Kilmer? But you got to kind of yell. I think I would have to yell at the camera to make sense, because that's kind of what Scotty does. But I occasionally watch him, and I can't watch him long. Good, Fairway. Marty, no echo tonight. You sound disappointed. Yeah, no echo. So I'm gonna try to keep it that way. Mullet's Garage. Enjoy watching your videos. Moisture separators. Any knowledge to pass along for main air systems? You know, not much I can give you on that. You know, I use, you know, just for at the gun, I use a little moisture separator. But in my paint area, I have a true paint shop water separator, and I think it has an oil, like it can removes all contaminants, you know. And that filter setup was one we had at the old body shop, and I don't know what they cost. I know they're available, obviously, and you can buy new filters from the paint store. But I took I have it isolated, so if I want to use the air hose back there, all the valves are shut off that go to that system. If I'm just doing like grinding and stuff like that, I don't want to waste the filters by pushing air through them that doesn't need to go. And when I want to paint or whatever, I switch and go back through the filters. So it's just a way to keep them from getting messed up. What's the AOD and background going into? Well, if you're talking about that one over there, that is just an empty case. And that's going to be part of the mock-up when test fitting everything to go in the Pony. And so I've been really thinking about buying, I don't know if I should or not, I kind of want to buy one of those plastic molded engines because they're so lightweight, you know, and you can manipulate them real easy. But I do have a 351 Windsor engine block that I was going to make that transmission to, because it's the same block basically, and then mock that into the Pony and see what kind of clearance issues I know I'm going to have. But that's what that is, just an empty case. Hey Tim, you made it. Clap, 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 thumbs up, yeah. I'm glad you're here. Terry Baptist, what is the legal process for transferring the vehicle ID number? I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. You know, a lot of times people, you know, you get a car that's been wrecked or whatever, and people salvage it or, you know, try to rebuild it. They'll replace the panel that VIN attaches to and, you know, weld it back in, which is pretty common. I can tell you that in the body shop business, like if we replaced a door that had the VIN sticker on it, we could not transfer that sticker. We had to cut out the panel, a square around it, and they had to keep it in the glove box. And that was just their way of saying that it had still had the legal VIN with it. But as far as doing it on these old cars, it's a really gray area, honestly, because who's going to inspect it? Who's going to, you know, go that far to dig it apart? The only time I think it really becomes an issue is if, you know, they report the car stolen or something like that. So I can't say there's a legal way to make it any better. I don't know. Let's see, Eric, I enjoy all your videos trying to find time to restore my 68 convertible. Yep, time is precious, and every day goes by we lost it. So, you know, even if you spend an hour or something a day just doing something on it, it's an hour closer. Just keep thinking of that. Let's see, Lonnie Harvey, I'm basically south of Atlanta, Georgia. So, Georgia. Mr. Tilley, hello from Canada. I subscribed a few nights ago. I started putting my project into epoxy primer today. Awesome. That's great to hear. You know, that's progress. I like to hear that. People doing things. Dubs, hello from California. Well, hello to you. Dubs Body Kit. Well, good to have you along. Nick, I just finished my floor pan. When I get a chance to start my 4-link, I'm going to make a video for the viewer video thing. Work is plentiful at the moment. Yeah, it always is. There's always something to do, and yeah, I can't swing a cat in here and not hit something I need to work on. But you know, that's something I'm going to try to do more of this year, probably than ever before. I know I commented on my 2019 review type video I did that I had posted 38 videos to this channel. And a lot of those were in the end of the year, going to SEMA, pushing out little things like that. So I'm really trying to, I'm trying, I can't guarantee it, but I'm going to try to do a video a week, to do this once a week. If I could get the viewers projects going, if I can get one a week, great. It's one every couple weeks, whenever I can, that'll be great too. So we'll see how all that goes. I'm going to try to do that. And with that, I'm going to have to find things to do, which I've got plenty to do on the Brooklyn Pony. So you may be seeing more videos on that very soon. Kent, K. Kent, hi from Texas. Hi, Kent, or hi, K. I don't know what to say, which way you want that. We make and design our own body kits. Okay. Dave Moore, do I have to remove the E-coat prior to epoxy priming, or is just rough up with 80 grit? Thanks. That E-coat, there's debate on that on both sides. Some say it's fine, some say it's not. I've left it on and applied primers over it after scuffing, but I've heard from various sources that a quick test on those is to wipe it down with lacquer thinner. Just wipe the panel down and then look at your towel. If you've got lacquer thinner, if you've got color coming up on the towel, that stuff needs to come off, from what I've been told. And I believe it, because it's that stuff is not UV protected. So if it's ever been out in the sun or anything like that, it's going to start breaking down. That said, I would recommend you probably take it all off. There are certain panels that I've used and haven't had any issues with, that I've left it on. I've done the wipe test, come out solid, no residue, and I've run with it. Scuffed it up real good with 180, and then applied primer. I didn't add more epoxy, because epoxy is really meant to go to bare metal. It's more of a barrier type primer that keeps moisture out and stuff like that. So that's why, if they, when you're looking at epoxy, you want to go to bare metal. That's the key. So, Ron, I have to replace my roof skin, and I'm toying with the idea of shaving off the drip rails. Have you ever done that before? I have not, and I've seen it done, and I've seen variations of it done. I've seen cars with it done. I haven't actually watched the process. There's various ways to do it, and I saw one where I don't know why they did it this way, but they removed the drip rail, and then they took some like 3/16 bar or like rod and welded it onto the car so that it still gave it a little bit like push out. I don't know, it was kind of weird, but I didn't see the finished product. I just saw somebody doing that, and I don't know if they were trying to reinforce the edge or what exactly they were doing, but I don't know if they were going to build filler on top of it, just kind of make the transition come out further. And it may have been on the type of car, because the roof lines are slightly different, from the 5 and 6 to 7 and 8. I think they're a little bit different, I think. But whatever it was, he was adding material. And no, I haven't done it. Like I said, I've seen it. I guess it's up to you whether you want to try it or not. Because I know they typically have rust issues, and that's always a problem. And I just haven't done it, and I probably won't. Just me. Okay, let's see. How many hours do you think you have in the Brooklyn Pony as of now? All of them. I don't know. I have no idea. People ask me that question, and here's the thing. I'm really bad about paperwork, or keeping track of things and time, and because as I've said before, I don't do this for a living. It's a side thing for me. And if I tracked my hours and I actually charge by the hour, I would probably never have any customers, because they couldn't afford me, honestly. I probably have twice the hours in the Brooklyn Pony that I would have if everything was fitting right, like it, not having to manipulate all the metal to make it fit. So I just don't track that stuff. I never did. Even when I was at the body shop, I never tracked. I just couldn't do it. It was, to me, it was burdensome to figure out how many hours I spent on this or that. So I just don't. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Any tip for first time welding? Oh, Terry, I hope it's caught back up. I don't know. Let's see. Any tip? Daniel asked, any tips for first time welding? Well, that's a good question. Any tips? Be patient. That's about all I can really say. If you're going to do MIG welding, start with a 110 or 120 welder, 120 volt, and focus on just figuring out your heat settings. Wire feed, heat settings. It's a combination deal. The higher the heat, the faster you got to feed the wire. The lower the heat, the slower you feed it, because lower heat with fast wire, you're just going to push the wire into it and it's not going to do anything or not work properly. If you go with a high heat and slow, then it's just going to come out and burn up before it ever does. It lays down. So it takes some balance in there, and you just kind of got to experiment with it. That's the best I can tell you, is practice and experiment. So let's see. 2-part epoxy, 5-minute dry time. Yeah, I usually let my epoxy dry, honestly, at least I try to go 24 hours. I want all the vapors out of it. I don't want it, and a lot of times I'll spray epoxy on a panel and I may not touch it for months. And it's just, I'm not necessarily intentionally doing it. I just know I'd rather have all the vapors, all the chemicals dried out of it before I go any further. Tim, what grit sandpapers do you use on the Evercoat filler? Well, when I start sanding, I use 100 grit and knock it down as best I can. That's if I'm block sanding, yeah, if you're asking that. So, and you could use 80, whatever you want, just to get the roughness down. And I'll use 100 grit, through multiple layers or applications, and then move on to, I may just go over it with some 180 when I'm getting ready to prime it, and smooth it out, get some of the scratches out of it, and then start putting the high build on with after 180. Let's see, Johnny Crash, I remember that name. Hey there, just want to thank you again for the help and advice you've offered. You and a handful of others have been very influential to me, even attempting to restore my own car. Yeah, I think you have the 65 coupe, and you're in Texas, aren't you? I think that's where you're at, doing it out in the driveway. I think it's, tell me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong. I was wrong once before. Johnny Crash, I'll be putting the tail panel area together with the next couple weeks. Good. That's good. Fungu 519. That's an interesting name. I don't know what it means, but I'll just call you Fun. Fun? Fun. I don't know. Any tips for newcomers to restoration? That's a really difficult question. Do your homework. Do your research. When you come looking at a car, assume it's bad before you ever start looking at it. Don't look at the shiny paint. Don't look at the fancy wheels. Don't look at the hubcaps. Don't look at all the stuff that's going to make it pop in your face and you go, oh, this is so cool. Look at underneath stuff. Look under the carpets. Look at stuff like, depending on the car. Now, I could mention Mustangs because that's what I've been working on. The cowl, it's going to be an issue. The floor pans, any stuff like that. Know where the car is from if you can. Like a northern car, like the Brooklyn Pony, they're going to be rough. And people are going to hide stuff. I can tell you that right now. There's stuff going to be hidden in various locations on that car where they've just covered it up and spray painted it. Trust me. So if you can get a car from the west, Midwest, or out west, or from the south, maybe not Florida, that's going to put you ahead of the curve because typically those are better cars. Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, parts of it. But do your homework. Look at videos, look at stuff that people run into, and I've actually thought about making a video on some of that stuff because I've had people ask me to look at cars, and I've looked at them, and I've told them what was wrong with them, and they were kind of disappointed, because they thought they were looking at a good car, and they weren't. But research, find out what's been, replaced on it, if there's any documentation on the car that makes it worth more or less. Make sure you verify whatever information you think is necessary. Like, hey, does it have the right engine? Does it have the right transmission? Stuff like that. If it's important to you that it was an original type of car, if it's not that necessary. So just do some homework. Let's see. Terry, have you ever used lead fill, or have you ever lead fill the body seams? I have not. I just haven't. I'm not experienced with it. I won't pretend that I know what I'm talking about with lead. I know that typically when I work on something, if I'm working in those areas, I'll melt the lead out. I know that's old school way of filling that stuff in, and there's guys that are great with it. In fact, there's one old guy, I don't know what his name is. You've probably seen him. He's real short, always chewing on a cigar, and he's like always has a torch, and he's working the lead. That guy looks like he's 200 years old, and I don't know how he's still alive, honestly, breathing all those lead fumes all these years. But I think he's still doing that stuff. So, but I don't have any interest in experimenting with the lead. Yeah, so I don't have a good answer on that. Yep, Johnny Crash, Texas. Ding, ding, ding. I was right. See, I pay attention. Fungu, restoring a 69 Sport Roof. Your videos have been very helpful, and I thank you for them. Cool. I'm glad to hear they are. And the Sport Roof, cool car. I mean, you can do whatever you want with that car, really, because, the Sport Roofs were more plain, but you can have fun with it. Build it how you want. Oh, Ron Cluwell. Bill, but he passed away. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm really kind of surprised he lived as long as he did, because, man, that guy would just, smoke cigars and chew on cigars and be breathing fumes. And anyway, I'll be here. I'm still here. So let me see what he has. Yeah, he passed away. I'm guessing somewhere here. Why through first? Oh, the 347 stroker engine is tried and true, and they're good engines. And I think they're better. I mean, they're proven. They're well built, and I like, it's what the owner chose to put in. We talked about that, and it's more in line with the original size of the engine that was in the car, and so I think it's gonna be a great engine. I know I've heard good things about the 347, so I'm happy with those. Let's see. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I forgot where I was at. Lost my train of thought here for a second. But yeah, the 347 stroker engine, going to be a great little engine, and that's this one's built by Ford directly. So I did a video on it. I did an unboxing or what's in the box video, and you can see it. So hopefully we can get all this put together pretty soon. I had a conversation with the owner today, and we talked about so a vision for where we're going and how we want to proceed forward. And there's some other ideas that we've got to address with the with the pony. Because I talked last week about putting in brake lines and all that sort of thing. So we're going to address that. but there's other things that need to happen, like this car is going to have the 3-point harnesses in it, so that'll be an upcoming video at some point where I get that figured out and put in, those 3-point harnesses, and there may be some extra bracing we need to add in, depending on how it goes, and so hopefully I can get some videos on that before too long, and we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Lewis Martin, how do you go about setting up a shop? That's a good question. This particular shop, I built this in '96, and I really didn't have any good input other than the garage my dad had growing up, and he had built a pretty wide, like double width car, or I forget what the dimensions were, and then there was a taller garage next to it, like he could drive a dump truck in. And so I kind of was using that the way he did it as a guide. But my shop is 24 wide by 36 deep. I have a 16-foot roll-up door, and I like the roll-up door because it doesn't block the lights. If I'm out here at night or something, I want some fresh air, I don't block the lights. And then I have, my benches set up on either side, and I have a lift. Now, all I really did with the lift design was I put a car back there, and I kind of calculated out what distance I needed from the walls and whether I could get around it, without piling junk around it like I have in the past. And so that's all I really did to figure that out. Other than that, you just kind of lay out a footprint. Figure out the measurements of your vehicle, where you want to put it, what you think you're going to do with it. Like my back right corner is just full of junk. I'll be honest. There's engines back there. There's a transmission. There's half of a Camaro. There's all kinds of stuff back in that corner, but it's okay because I can't put a car there anyway because of my dimensions. Had I built a wider garage, I could have put a car back there without any issues. But just do some layouts and see what looks good to you. Let's see. Terry Baptist, what do you do for a living? I work on airplanes. I think I've said it in other videos. I'm an aircraft mechanic. I've been doing that for what is it now? Almost 29 years? Yeah, been doing that a long time. So that's why you hear me say I'm talking about a project and I'll say outboard or inboard or fore and aft, or I may use aircraft terms just because that's in my head. But yeah, I'm an A&P licensed aircraft mechanic. Let's see. Danny, thanks for all the videos. Since watching your videos, I started on my 67 Mustang Rusto mod, full build starting in my driveway. You get 2 thumbs up for that. That's pretty cool. I like to hear that. I like to know that people are getting involved and working on these cars and saving them. That's really cool. Yeah. Let's see. Johnny Crash, you get the cubic inches of a larger package in the compact 3.0. That's a better answer. You get, for 347 versus a 351, you get the cubic inches of a larger package in the compact 302 package. Good answer. Thank you, Johnny. I assume it's Johnny, but thank you for that. I was kind of stumbling with some other issues that I was dealing with, so I kind of lost my train. Let's see. Where do you get original tooling panels? That's a good question. There are very few that I know of that are original tooling anymore. I know that the tail panel, I was able to get it through Mustangs Unlimited. I assume there's other people that have it. I have not really researched it beyond that point. And I know that there's some fenders that you can buy that I think are original tooling. They're quite a bit more expensive, but they may be worth it, overall, because you've seen what I had to do to fight with various fenders from the Brooklyn Pony and stuff like that. So, but I don't really have a good answer as to where you can get those. Lonnie, redoing a 41 Chevy pickup, shot color on the cab, but having trouble with clear coat. Will you be doing any of that soon? No, and I don't know when I will. Having trouble with, Well, it's hard to say and I can't give you any answers or any help because I don't know what the problem is. But I haven't shot anything on base and clear in a while. So let's see. Johnny Crash. I want to say there was a Ford Australia car that came from the factory with a 347. They put 302s in passenger cars. That's cool. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate it. Eric, when do you think Brooklyn Pony will go to paint? That's a very good question. Paint is not high on my list right now. I want to get all the mechanical stuff in place, make sure everything fits, everything kind of works, you know. So I need to take care of the brakes, the steering, setting the engine in place, all those little things, and then take it back apart, undercoat, you know, take care of all those things. So hopefully soon. That's all I can say. Mr. Tilley, thanks for the great advice and videos. I'm working on a 49 panel truck. That's pretty cool. Now I have to ask you, it's a 49. Is it a Ford, Chevy, GMC? I doubt it's a Dodge. But, you know. Thanks, RC guy. Tim. Don't forget thumbs up, right? Got to mention that. Brian, love your channel. Been a huge help. What state are you in? Sometimes I'm in a state of confusion. Sometimes I'm in a state of denial. But I'm always in a state of Georgia. So. Let's see. Brian, love your channel. Been a huge help. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I just read that. Duh. Double R Restorations. Glad you're here. Let me see where I'm at. Ah, Johnny, you got your AMP, but you haven't used it yet? You may have to contact me later. Just saying. You can hit me up on Facebook or something. We can talk. Eric, my son is deployed right now watching Iran. He's worked on aircraft. Well, if he's watching and he's in Iran, wow. Or if he's watching Iran, I should say. Well, thank him for. I say thank you for your service. I don't know what his name is, but I thank him for his service, and stay safe. That's the big thing. Terry, do you work on propeller engines or jet engines? I work on jets, and I do. My job involves. I used to do sheet metal work. I've done inspection work. I've done a variety of things, a lot of different things. But currently, I operate giant vacuum furnaces where I heat treat engine parts. That's my job, and I like it. I really do. It is a Dodge. Well, now you surprise me. You surprised me there, Mr. Tilley. I did not expect it to be a Dodge, honestly, because not a lot of people. Well, you don't really see the Dodges anymore. I mean, 49. Yeah, you don't see that very often. So, kudos to you for taking on a 49 Dodge. I don't know what shape it's in, but yeah. Yeah, you're right, Tim. I'm glad you're here to help out. And I don't know if you're, you know, what all pages you follow, but I will suggest you check out Double R Restoration if you haven't already. Great channel, very detailed. He's building some killer Camaros, and nice guy. So go check him out. And if you're into RC stuff like remote control trucks and you know all the stuff that's available in the modern market for RC stuff, check out RC Guy Garage. He's got some cool stuff on there, and he does some crazy stuff with these RCs, and you'll get a kick out of it. So, Brian, I'm working on a 65 Fastback, and because of your videos, my father and I putting in the entire floor pan firewall upper lower cowl. That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, as I was talking to the owner today about the Pony project, we were discussing that and how people are responding to this build and various other builds that I've done, and how it seems to be kind of opening a door in a way, I think, because people are seeing that, hey, this can happen. I can do this, and I hear that more and more, and he's happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that, and it'd be great if I had somebody, some major corporation say, hey, you're helping us sell product. Here's a check. I don't expect it, but it'd be really nice. Let's see. Grease Rookie, glad to know people like you work on the planes. I fly in. Keep those things safe for me. That's the plan. Definitely. Because, it's funny when, again, as I use these phrasing from aircraft and stuff like that, the mindset of an A&P mechanic is we need to fix it right now. We need to fix it right the first time, because the thing about airplanes is, you can't pull over and park it when it runs out of gas, or if it, an engine dies or whatever. You can't pull over. It's got to be safe from the time it leaves till the time it lands. So we do all we can to take care of that and make it that way. So, let's see. .354 Generation 1 Hemi. That's pretty cool. That's an odd engine. I know we had the only Hemi that I really got, I know they made this old Dodge, the smaller Hemis, first generation or whatever, and then they had, I think we had a 392, I think is what it was, in some big Chrysler we had up at the junkyard. Instead of the 426, it was like I'm pretty sure it was a 392, but it looked like a 426. In passing, you could probably say, "Oh, there's a 426," but I think 392 was a size. Can't really remember. Yep, Terry, definitely, that's a very important job. Yeah, and I could go into a lot of detail about all that, but I don't really need to. Kent, we work on a 66 coupe. Thanks for your videos. Thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. That's good to hear. Do I do consulting? That's a good question. I guess that's a broad term, consulting. I guess in some ways I do. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, but yeah, I'm open to it. I don't know how to answer that really, because I guess if you look at it from people contacting me and me responding, and I guess in a way I do consulting all the time. But anyway, I'm not sure exactly what you want to know or what you're trying to solve or whatever, but I don't do psychotherapy. 392, see? I was right. That thing was huge. Of course, it was the same size as the 426, but it was in a, if I remember, like a 59 Chrysler Imperial. Massive car. It had the same, in fact, if I remember correctly, the lug pattern from the Chrysler was the same as a Ford half-ton four-wheel drive truck from like the 60s. So it had this crazy big lug pattern, 5 lug, and it was huge. It had huge drum, like, it looked like, I don't know, 16-inch brake drums on this thing. They were massive. But the car also weighed probably 6,000 pounds. It was incredibly huge. Lewis, would you do in the near would you do a tour in a junkyard? Get out of the shop sometimes. Yeah, in a junkyard. I could. Unfortunately, most of the junkyards now, all the old stuff's gone. There's one place down the road from me that has a bunch of old cars, but the guys kind of left it go bad, and everything's getting trees growing up through it and around it. But there's no real old junkyards anymore to kind of go to. Now there is one up in North Georgia. I don't know. I can't forget the name of it, but if you do some Googling, you can find it. They have it's almost like they just do tours now. I think there's like several thousand cars in this place, and Old Town USA, maybe Old Car USA they call it, something like that. So, but it's like up in North Georgia, a bit out of my way to go check out. So, how much do I charge to rebuild a car? That's a good question, Terry, and I don't have an answer. I don't know. I mean, I know what I have in mind for certain projects, but I don't have a set number. You know, like, I don't know. I really don't have a good answer. So, probably not enough. What else? Here's another one. Let's see. Johnny, there's a wonderful junkyard in Sunset, Texas called Brown's Auto. It's like a time capsule. They ship cars and parts around the country. Yeah, that would be a cool place to visit. It's really hard to find anymore. I mean, I know there's places around where I live where I've found, 30 old cars sitting in the woods on somebody's property. That why they're there, I don't know. But there's cars from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s sitting in there. There's like the old Econoline pickup, like they had in 66, 67. They had the van, the Ford van, and they made a pickup version. I think there's one of those sitting in there. There's a 69 Dodge Charger sitting in there. There's a bunch, and it's like, why are these cars sitting here? But I don't know who to talk to find out if they want to get rid of them or what's going on. But I don't know. Hey Wally, glad you're here. Glad you're a new subscriber. Yeah. I guess in a way I am consulting with all of you on my videos. Plasma cutter recommendations. I'm very happy with the Harbor Freight plasma cutter. I've done videos on that. I really have no complaints over it. It's held up fine, other than consumables, which is normal. And in fact, I did a video the other day on my other channel, and I destroyed some hard drives from my old computers using the plasma cutter. That was a lot of fun. But anyway, yeah, Harbor Freight, I'm happy with their plasma cutter, and I've had this one 4 years or more, 5 years, I don't even know, but maybe longer, probably longer. But I'm happy with it. I'll probably buy it. If this one fails, I'll just buy another one from Harbor Freight, honestly. Yeah, Barry, yeah, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Let's see. Old Car USA is a junkyard in Georgia. See? Never been there, but I do want to check it out. I was right. Old Car USA. Ding. I need a little bell when I get things right. I knew that Johnny Crash was in Texas. Ding. I should give him a little. I need a little chime or something. Ding. I don't know. Let's see. Mr. Tilly, I cut out the front axle. I cut out the front straight axle and replaced it with a Mustang 2, coilovers, disc brake. Nice. That's going to be a cool ride. You should send me some pictures. I'd like to see it. Marty, I have a friend in your area that paints cars. His name is Jerry Gibbons in Hampton. Any chance you've met him? Doesn't ring a bell. But that's not too far away from me. Yep. Johnny Crash, they have Studebakers, AMCs, you name it. Okay. I'll name a car, and I bet you they don't have it. And you can, I know you won't know, but I'll name a car, and I will bet you they don't have it at that junkyard. But my dad had one in his junkyard, or our junkyard. It was called a Goliath. Look it up. If they have one of those, I'll be very surprised. Daryl Jones, what's your Facebook page? Joe Daddy's Garage. Same here. Same thing. Stuff going back to the 40s. Yep. Let's see. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for the highlight. Very cool. Terry, if the Charger's for sale, I would buy and rebuild it. Yeah. Yeah. I would too, but I don't even know who to talk to. And here's the crazy thing. And I won't say that I took pictures of these cars, but somewhere there's some pictures. The Charger actually has, regular paint on it. But the weird part is the driver's door, the paint is coming off of it, and it's orange with an 01 on the door. Seriously. It's painted underneath the normal paint. It's orange with an 01 on it. Now I don't know how that process got, why it's there. I don't know, but I saw it, and there's probably some pictures somewhere, but I don't know where they're at. Yeah, Tim, that Mustang never stood a chance with the plasma cutter. Barry Seifert, Nash. That's good. Daryl Jones. Okay. Yeah, Facebook page. Got it. Mr. Tilly, send a couple pics. Cool. Do that. I like to see stuff like that. You should make a video and submit it to my viewers' projects. Just like Andrew did. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Viewers' projects. That was the last one I posted. And that would be a cool one. That would be nice. Yeah, Daryl, Dukes of Hazzard. Yep. Hazzard County. Yeah. But I don't know why it's why that car is painted that way. I mean, it has the everything painted underneath what would be like a normal paint job. Weird. I don't know. It's hard to say how it got to that point. You try to figure out why would somebody take a car that was painted up like the General Lee and just spray over it as a driver. I mean, the car had a bench seat in it, whatever. Why would you not sand all that stuff off first? Kind of weird. Anyway, not that it matters. I don't have any access to it. I can't get it. So, I opened up this talking about Monday Night Tool Talk, and I talked about these paint guns, earlier in the stream, and I was going to point out something else. I showed these. I have some cool hammers, and I say they're cool hammers because these are custom made hammers, and basically, not that I use them that often because I kind of forget that I have them, but there's a company, it's Kinetic Customs, and I think I went through Instagram when I found them, and this guy makes these cool hammers, and he stamps them himself with Kinetic Customs. He takes the handle and he kind of burns it, which I'm not necessarily a fan of. I'd rather have the regular handle, but I'm happy with it. And anyway, just kind of cool. He takes this steel and he twists it and turns it into these really cool looking hammers. So you've got a nice little corner edge, that you can swing obviously this direction, and then another reverse angle. So he made this one, and then this little tack hammer. And I've used these. I mean, I have, and it's kind of cool. The little tack hammer has a little clip on it that I think he makes that as well, so you can like slip it in hook it on your pocket. And I just thought I'd share these because I think I did a video or something on these a long time ago, but these are really cool little hammers, and I guess I really forget that I even have them. But I open a drawer and there they are. Anyway. Let's see. Terry Baptist VIN. Have to research to find out if one of the charters used in a TV show. Yeah. Yeah. That would be, and I don't know if how they. I assume they have all the VINs somewhere. I know that I've seen. What's the guy's name? John Snyder. He's made videos on Dukes of Hazzard and stuff like that, and I'm sure there's such a following on that stuff that I know there's a database somewhere with all those cars. That would be interesting though if it really was one of the Duke cars. It would be really cool. It may have been just one they built just for like side shots, driving by or something. Let's see. Danny Stowe, what is your most used tools in car building or cutting out rust besides a plasma or must-haves? I'm going to say the most used is going to be, I talk about these in another, I've talked about them before. I just happen to have one sitting here. These little Ziz wheels, cutoff wheels that you put on a grinder, those are very handy. There's spaces you get into and you can cut with and separate metal, get it out of the way, or grind. I use this to grind into the edge of welds and knock them down. So these I go through quite a bit, but they work really well. So this is one of the primary tools I use. Just a second. Sorry. Another tool that I like to use is this seam buster. Okay. Now, they make these in various designs. They make one that's got a 90-degree turn on it so that you can drive sideways, like if you're trying to get into a seam, let's say and there's stuff kind of in your way, you can't put the long handle up, you can come in sideways and drive, with the bent one. It's got a sharp edge here and an edge here, and basically this is really good at separating spot welds. But you have to grind, I still grind through the top of the weld, but this is a lot of what I use. That's probably the bulk of stuff for rust and that sort of thing. Also, I'll use the 4.5-inch grinder with a hard disc on it, grind out welds, stuff like that. But that's probably the bulk of what I use to get stuff separated. DRS by SATA, yeah. Matt Hughes, SATA, yeah. And I don't know. I was thinking that this is a copy, I think, of the SATA gun, but I don't know. So I'm not going to say that it is, but I think I read something about that Black Widow was a copy. So I don't know. Can't type. I know that feeling. Man. I had somebody, a guy out in California, I don't remember his name at the moment, he contacted me and he had sent me emails asking some advice and on a convertible and different things, and he left his phone number, and I tried to answer with emails and send them back. I'm not a real fan of emails. I get frustrated pretty fast because I can type stuff out, simple answers, but if it's a complex answer, I might just call. To be honest, I called this guy out in California and did talk to him about his project. And there's other people on here that know me. They've found a way to contact me, and we've talked about projects. And I've used the WhatsApp feature and different things. Now, I can't say that's going to be something that'll happen frequently, but occasionally I get the urge and I'll just do that because I'm not real good at typing. I never had typing in school, so I'm really the guy that's clunk, 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 And half the time I feel like I'm dyslexic because I'm trying to type out a word and I'll switch several letters along the way, and I'm like, how did I do that? You know, I don't know. Let's see, Johnny. I know a guy who bought a SATA recently. He said he dropped $950 on it. Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not going to do that. This gun on sale, $150, and I got the primer gun, and I got the base clear gun. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Pro Painter. Yep. Matt Hughes. Go look at Spray Guns Direct. It's from UK and much cheaper than US, even with the shipping. Yeah, okay. Yeah, or go buy Harbor Freight purple for 20. Yeah. You know what? I have one of those. I've never used it, but I have it. I should spray some primer with that and get it done. Let's see, Barry, spot weld drill. Yeah, I mean, I've used spot weld cutters. I forget what the company was. I used one at the body shop that was, it had like a hook on it that was mounted to the gun, and a gun you could set the depth on it so it only went so far. It was a great tool. You could change the setting on it. It would only go, you know, just so far into the metal, and had a dial that you could change it to let it go a little deeper. I forget the name of it, but that was a great tool. I probably should have one of those. I don't know why I don't. Oh well. But yeah, that's a great tool. I don't use the spot weld cutters that have like the drill in the center. I guess I could. I'm just not. I don't know. I'm not as excited about those. I've had issues with them, I guess, because even when you're doing that, unless you're freehanding it. So if you go too far, you drill through everything, and you don't really gain any. You know, if that's the goal, that's fine. But I like to leave the base metal, or what I call the parent metal, and when I put the new panel on top, I've got something to start my weld to. Now I can weld, you know, if I had two holes or whatever were lined up, I can buzz those together no problem. But I like to have that, again, base metal or parent metal to build a foundation on. So let's see, Matt Hughes, you can drill out the tip and hose on the primer and not worry about destroying a good gun. That's a good point. That is a good point. I should maybe consider doing that. Wally Spottle? Let's see, Spottle. I'm not sure what that means. Talking about a spot face gun. Yeah, a spot face tool or spot face gun. I can't think of the name. I think it started with a B, but I don't remember. Do you have any family members to like to help you? I wish. My sons are probably watching this, and they, you know, we've tried over the years. Growing up, I tried to get them to come out here in the garage, and they never really got as excited about it as maybe the other kids would have or should have or could have. But no, just me. But I'm hoping. I have a grandson now, you know, and in 10 short years he'll be 10 years old. So maybe he'll be out here helping me, and we can build stuff together and have some fun. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Just me. Spot weld drill. Yeah, there's another name for it. I mean, a manufacturing name. I can't think of it. Spot face or. I'm not going to look it up. I can sit here and look it up, but I'm not going to. But yeah, that was a great tool we had at the shop. Another one was the hole puncher, and I know I should just go ahead and spend the money on it. I have a Harbor Freight hole punch. It's never been effective. It's never been a good tool. I should buy a name brand hole puncher. You know, I've shown it before. I'm comfortable drilling all my holes for my new panels. I don't know why. Maybe I get some satisfaction out of it because you know, as I said before, working on airplanes, we would do sheet metal jobs where we'd reskin the whole, basically the whole bottom of the plane after, you know, it had some, if it had corrosion problems, you'd remove all the old skin, replace all the stringers and stuff that were bad, and then reskin it. So you had to drill thousands and thousands of holes putting it back together. And so that's what I did as a start of my job. So I'm very comfortable drilling. I have no issue with that. And I've done it so often and so long that typically I can drill and tell you almost the exact moment it's going to break through the other side. And I'm, you know, when you're doing, like you're doing aircraft stuff and you're drilling into stringers trying to put a skin together, you'd have to know how, when you're about to get through so you didn't jam something else on the inside, or maybe somebody else was in there working and you didn't want to hit them, you know. So you kind of learn the pitch, and you hear the, and at a certain point you let, you know, go through it. So yep. So yeah, I'm happy drilling, but I should get a spot weld gun. Let's see, what time is it? 9:30. Wow. I need to probably wrap this up pretty soon. So if anybody has another quick question or two, go ahead and throw them at me. And you know, I've said it before, throw a thumbs up on there. You know, if you like this video, that helps with the YouTube algorithms and helps my channel and all that sort of thing, and gets it growing, gets it bigger, so that I can eventually not have to work on airplane stuff anymore. Yeah, I am less restricted for drilling. Less restricted for time to drill your panels now. Yeah, that's true. Do I have a drill sharpener? I find the bits dull quickly, but don't want to spend a ton on a sharpener. You know, I do. I have a Harbor Freight drill sharpener, and honestly, it does okay. I mean, it's $20 or something, and it's just a grinding stone mounted inside a case, and you put your bits in and you get the angle, whatever. But it's actually extended the life of some of my drill bits, and I mean, it was probably worth it. I recently bought those Bad Dog drill bits that I showed a video on earlier in the month, and I'm hoping that I can have good results out of those. But yeah, I do have a basic sharpeners, or basic drill sharpener. All right, 37 likes. Cool, appreciate that. So let's see. Blair or Dent Fix. Yeah, I still don't think that's quite right. There's another one. Terry Baptist, you should cook yourself some dinner. You know what? When I was talking earlier about the regulator and the airflow, you know, stuff that I was trying to get on the gun, I actually drove up to Harbor Freight tonight, and on the way back, ding, 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 I stopped at Arby's. So I'm making a bunch of moisture is collecting on my my bench over here. So anyway, I should probably get in the house and take care of the dogs and all that sort of thing. So it is getting late, and this has been fun. I think I'm liking this, you know. And now that I have what feels like a better deal going with this stream, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, it's nice to not have echo like we had before, and it's also nice that it seems to be keeping up pretty well. So I think that's it. Again, I'll say this: thank you for watching, thank you for being here, and you know, I'll do it again. I think I'm going to try to make this a regular Monday night thing, and you know, I don't know if I need topic ideas or not. Wouldn't hurt. So if you want to send me a message or something and say, hey, why don't you do a stream on making tacos or something? I don't know. Just kidding. I don't know what it's. I don't cook. But anyway, so yeah, check out the other videos. Check out the channel. And I think that's going to be it. So let's see. One last question from Eric. How's the missus feel about the garage time? She's okay with it. She knew what she was getting into when she married me, and she's okay with it. Years ago, and I'll say this, I'll give my wife all the credit in the world. I love her, and I always will. Whenever we were younger, I want to say 25 years ago, whatever it was, and we had our sons, and they were young, and whatever, and her parents came to visit, and I was out in the garage, and her mom said to her, she told me this later, her mom said to her, "Hey, he's always out in the garage. Why is he not in the house? Why is he always out in the garage? Why is he not in the house?" And my wife looked at her and said, "I know where he's at. He's not out in some bar getting drunk. He's not out causing problems. He's right there, 40 feet away. If I need him, I can go get him." That's all she said. And that was the end of that. So I give credit to my wife. Shh, don't tell her I said that. Anyway, so that's going to be it. Yep. Thank you, everyone. And we'll get with you next week. So until next time, as I like to say, take care of yourselves. See ya.